somebody from Sudan to make matters worse. Somebody from Sudan who is not from Nigeria, somebody, an impostor, could come to your land and rig elections and you can't do anything about it. It is a shame and a disgrace. I feel sorry for you people. I feel sorry for you people. Honestly speaking, your only savior is IPOB. If you have any sense left in your brain, from tonight, everybody should identify with IPOB, and within 2 weeks, you will see what will happen. That's all you need to do. Within 2 weeks, you will see what will happen. You will see what will happen. Some of you, dear friends, that left this very struggle because of what you've been promised, because of your PVCs. And some of the very hopeless Nigerians, I call them the PVC people. Especially those of them from Igbo land. They were very, very vicious in terms of their attack against IPOB. The left Alamajiri was attacking IPOB. How foolish they are. They are now complaining. Everybody's complaining. The election was rigged. Of course, I've been telling you that since 2014. It will be rigged. Over and over again, it will be rigged. When Jonathan was being pressured by Barack Obama to leave office, I was on air telling you that Barack Obama is on the phone pressuring Jonathan to leave. I also warned you people that the then Buhari, who is now dead and buried in Saudi Arabia, like every other jihadi around the world, like Morsi of Egypt, I made that very broadcast, and Deputy must find it and play it. They want to, listen, the Islamic Brotherhood wants to get into power, but once they get in, they don't want to leave. They claim they are coming via democracy or via a democratic means, one man, one woman, one vote, and all the rest of it, ballot box. Once they get in, they change the rules of the game. And that is what they have done in the zoo. There is nothing anybody can do about it. Your so-called useless international observers, what have they done? Absolutely nothing. As usual, anybody could have predicted what they were at. Yes, election held, there were isolated incidents of violence and disenfranchisement of voters. But all in all, we think the election held. Because they've given them money. The same thing they do with ambassadors serving in Nigeria. I've said this many times. They bribe the ambassadors. Every ambassador in Nigeria is bribed. British High Commissioner, American, they are all given bribe to keep quiet. They see evil, they cannot speak. Soldiers are massacring people on the road on a daily basis. They cannot send a decent report back to their home country. The excuse is always, if Nigeria is destabilized, the entire region, rubbish, absolute bunkum. Soviet Union collapsed, the world did not collapse. How much more the tiny, dreadful, ignorant, backward zoological republic? This is what I said to them. Soviet Union collapsed. The world did not come to an end. How about a very insipidly corrupt, festering, nonsensical contraption like the zoo that the British created? Russia. Soviet Union collapsed. The war did not end. There was no nuclear war, nothing. What is this nonsense that ambassadors and diplomats keep sending back to the Western world? Oh, if anything happens to Nigeria, it's a regional power, it's the most populous country in Africa. Rubbish, pure nonsense to justify the enslavement of nearly 200 million people. Because they bribed them. So you people don't know. Every ambassador serving in Nigeria from a respectable country is today a multi-millionaire, because your useless foreign affairs will go and give them money. That's all. So army can come on the road and kill IPOB family members, nobody will talk. Army can go and massacre Shia, nobody will talk. The secret could be held incommunicado for 4 years without trial, nobody cares. The same thing to El Zagzagi. People can be rounded up, kidnapped, anybody can be taken. It doesn't matter. Life continues as usual. All these things happening tells you about who you are. that you are a black person and that you are infinitely stupid and useless. I say it all the time. Infinitely useless and hopeless in this Soji. They think they know something, they know nothing. Isn't it very simple? Isn't it very, very simple? Stand on what you said in the beginning. And I say it tonight, only if. I'm not saying Atiku cannot be president if he wants to be. Or Peter will be vice, but only if. Afeni Fere, Pandef, Ohaneze, Middle Belt, only if they had held on to what they said initially, which was no restructuring, no election. Do you know what the advantages are? Because within that move to restructure the zoo, they would have built in safeguards that would have prevented election rigging as part of the package. Very simple and very neat. But these same people, these Fulani people that appointed them, most of them, in fact, almost all of them, the honorable your pastors were saying, use your PVC. And I said, you cannot vote out a tyrant with PVC. It has never happened in Africa before, and it can never happen again. Jonathan left office because he was not a tyrant. But the idiots couldn't understand it. Somebody that overthrew, or in his name, a civilian government was overthrown. Buhari is now dead in Saudi Arabia, rotting away. You all can see the pictures. You all can see the difference between Jubril and Buhari, but you all pretended somehow. Oh, we don't want Nnamdi Kanu to be right. We don't want IPOB to be right. Because of that, when you see the truth, you say the truth is no longer the truth. And that is why you're suffering. How many people died? We shall get to that later. Only if they stood on their restructuring or no election, as IPOB did. We won't be where we are today. Never. Because once the West and the East, Middle Belt, says no voting, if you don't restructure, the zoo comes to a halt. Forget all the nonsense. Only two people can vote, and we declare that we know that useless logic already. Where are we now? You have voted, haven't you? He is leading. Jubril is leading. A Sudanese man, Jubril is leading Atiku in some states by 500,000 votes. How do you get to make that up? India is over 1 billion people. India conducts elections and announces results within the same 24 hours. India. You're only 200 million, and it's taking you nearly a whole week to announce the result of elections because people vote and results are written. That's what they do. And you know that, I know that, the whole world knows. Do something about it and you say no. Allow Biafra to go? No. Change your voting system? No. And you come back and you're complaining. Useless set of people. We have won, haven't we? We always do. You were pressuring me to lift the boycott and I lifted it. Because you will blame me. And not only did we lift it, we made sure that the entire Biafra land voted for PDP, didn't we? And in some case, people came out and voted for PDP. They said, that's their preference, that's their choice. So how come you still lost? Because you don't have the metal, you don't have the balls to stand up to tyranny. Only IPOB can. I believe that I'm still on record as the only person that stood up against the tyranny of Buhari when he was alive. I'm not sure any other person did. When they came to my house to kill me, some of you black monkeys were busy jumping up and down and celebrating. That's how useless some of you are. Very, very hopeless and useless. You don't appreciate nor understand a principled stance. You don't know the meaning of it. Had all of you stuck on to no restructuring, no voting, this nonsense on Saturday could not have happened. It's as simple as ABC. And the worst was that you actually agreed to do it. But when they started flashing Naira around you, you capitulated immediately. Very sad indeed. Useless set of people who cannot reason very well. They can't reason. They cannot think. Their brain is vacuous, very empty. They can't reason. They were shouting all over the place. When the soldiers came and were massacring people, our own people, on the streets of Bayelsa, streets of River State, nothing, they couldn't do anything. Because they've sold their conscience. They have none. They are just empty barrels. All they do is to make empty noise. They can't do anything. No one takes them seriously.